Hey there, and welcome to Chubs Gone Wild, episode 462. Recorded on September 26th, 2022, where it is 91 gigantic degrees and sunny outside the Chubs Gone Wild remote studios. I'm not really liking this whole return to the 90s.
Oh, girl, it's 3 days.
I know, but it was so warm yesterday.
And the nice thing is that every night this week it's either 60 or lower for a low. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's what I always liked about. That's why I was shocked when we had the heat wave was, and I told you that, you if you didn't have your pool party by Labor Day, then you couldn't have a pool party after that with the Bears. That's kind of how we planned it, because what happens is in September with the change, this is where the sun starts changing its like level in the sky.
Hmm.
So that helps make it cooler at night,
Yeah.
but it just doesn't get as hot, even when it's hot. If it gets to 90, it doesn't feel like 90 because it's just not like bearing down on you outside.
Yeah.
It's kind of more of a I need sunglasses type thing.
Well,
And
I.
like right now, my pool is in shade and I don't have any trees in my backyard. It's because the two big trees next door
Hmm.
are now shading my backyard.
The, so your neighbors are casting shade at you.
Sure.
They're being shady. Yeah. It still felt like an oven when I walked out last night. Just saying. It is 25 days until Canadian Thanksgiving. 35 days until Halloween. 59 days until our Thanksgiving. 90 days until Christmas. And 36 days, just 36 days until TJ Zombie Girl retires. And she's going to walk out of that building. She's going to throw open those doors and they're going to play Wonder Woman. And she's just going to storm off into the sunset. I don't know where you go after that, but whatever. Anyway, all right. Patreon offers folks a way to support creators and receive rewards not open to the general public, like special podcasts, videos, books, and more. And we want to thank our current patrons because they are awesome. And that would be Clint, Nephi, Nick, DJ Sage from Unifaz. We will ask the questions. Oh, sorry. Got carried away. Eric, Sean, Charles, Brother Sinatus, Phoenix Dave, Kingsley, and Moose P. Please visit patreon.com/ Matt Burlingame if you would like to sign up for as little as $1 a month. Well, today we celebrate many holidays, including today is the first day of Rosh Hashanah. So that's like
I know what it
one of
is.
the two big. Some of our listeners may not.
Oh, okay. I
Some of
thought
the two big Jewish holidays, like the two biggest. Like some people think that that are very Christmas oriented or Yule oriented think that what is it
Hanukkah.
called? Thank you. Hanukkah is like the big one. It's like 8 days, yay, candles. But actually, that's a minor holiday, which I did not know until just a few years ago.
Yeah,
So,
you have to be a minor to do it.
yes,
Oh,
yes, I know
oh,
it's very dirty. There's a lot of coal involved, but
got it.
yeah.
No, it's actually oil, not coal.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That was the miracle. But yeah, so happy Rosh Hashanah. It
You know,
goes
I
2 days, by the way.
oh, so you done?
Yes. Mhm.
Oh, okay. When you're watching the either the rings or the dragons,
Mhm.
do you think they really burned that many candles?
Okay, so yeah, was it those or was it another show that I was watching? I think it was
Well,
one of those.
dragons last week. Remember when the father comes back
Uh-huh.
and he's walking around that corner and there's like 8,000 candles
Uh,
burning. I'm thinking, okay, no, because I would think that it would have been much more, um, lu well, I don't know, lucrative, but it was the smarter burn would to be burning oil candles
Uh-huh.
with wicks, because that would last longer. And I mean, just the candle making process. And
They
what
gotta have
do
like,
poor people have in their homes? They
yeah,
waited for the sun to come up,
I
because
know.
the castle, the kings were burning 8 zillion candles at a time. And granted, it looks beautiful,
It
but
does.
that's a lot of candles.
But did
And
you see that one wall where it was like an entire solid wall of just little flame candles?
yes, that's what
I
I'm
was
talking about.
like, I was looking at that and I'm like, the logistics of whoever has to try to light those every fucking time, all the way up and all the way, it would take an hour.
Right, and who wants to stand underneath a one of those chandeliers
Yeah,
covered in candles? Oh my God, can you imagine the
the
burns?
wax, the
Oh,
dripping.
well, that yeah, the mess from the drip, but you walk underneath them and you get like a hot, flow. No,
Yeah,
it's so unrealistic. I granted, it looks gorgeous, it
yeah,
paints a really beautiful picture, but I can't even. I mean, I remember, Little House on the Prairie. They read by the firelight,
uh-huh, of
fireplace.
one
Oh,
lamp.
that's it.
Yeah,
My eyes are going bad.
yep.
Well, of course, you have no
Mary,
lights
you're
in there.
straining your eyes. No, she's, yeah. I'm
And one window, oh my God, what a nightmare.
yes, absolutely agree with you. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so today in history, for the first time in US history, a debate between a major party presidential candidate, well, candidates, we'll say, is shown on television. The presidential hopefuls were John F. Kennedy, a Democratic senator from Massachusetts, and Richard M. Nixon, the Vice President of the United States. And they met in a Chicago studio to discuss U.S. domestic matters. And from what I understand, Kennedy won the first debate, but uh, the other two were said that Nixon was stronger. But we all know how that went, don't we? Hmm.
And where was Nixon from? What state?
It does not say on here, actually,
He's from
because
California.
he was the vice president. But
He's
was
from
he?
California.
Well, that doesn't make sense. I would have thought he was like from Florida or something.
I know. It's hard to believe that Nixon and Reagan both from California.
Two of the worst. Anyway, so, oh, no, I can't say that anymore.
Now you can say two of the worst.
Yeah, if there's three. Um,
Well, worst doesn't say it's only two. Two of the worst.
true.
Yeah. The worst we know where that one's come from. At
Yeah.
least so.
All right. So it's time for entertainment in history. So here's a little game for you. Name five of the top 10 films of 1970.
Okay,
I have a list
1970.
of 10, so any of those 10.
Okay, I'm trying to remember 1970.
It was a while ago.
Patton.
No. Oh
Really?
no, no, you're right. Yes, Patton.
Um, Gosh, I'm trying to think of what movies came out in 1970, because Patton was Best Picture.
Hmm.
Um, and it could have, we could have had some layovers from 69. So I'm going to say Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
No.
Okay, so because that was a 69, that was in 69. Shit, because Patton won Best Picture and Best Actor, and ugh, Five Easy Pieces. Or was that year? Or was it the next year?
No, it's not listed on
Shit,
this.
I
You will be surprised because you know most of these.
oh, I'm
Just
sure I
like
do.
off the top of your head, you know.
I mean, because see, 69 was a much better year for me, because that was Hello Dolly, and that
Mhm.
was the whatchamacallit, the Midnight Cowboy. It was what else did they have that year? They had Hello Dolly, Bush Cassidy, I think it was Anna of a Thousand Days.
I don't
Uh,
know if I've seen that one.
it was 69 was a much better year for movies for me
Hmm.
than 70. So what were they?
Okay, so Love Story,
Okay, that's right. That was 70.
Airport.
Oh God.
See, that's the one I thought you would have gotten right off.
Right.
MASH, then Patton, uh, Woodstock, Little Big Man, Tora Tora Tora, Ryan's Daughter, which
Ugh,
I've never heard of that.
it's sweeping. Let's just call it that.
Okay, Catch 22, and The Owl and the Pussycat. No, so those were the movies. Okay. There's a couple there that I haven't watched that I kind of want to, but we'll
And
see.
the funny thing is everybody remembers MASH as being really different. It's a very different movie than you remember it being if you've seen it before.
Yeah,
Watch it again. It's like because you saw the TV show and it's very different from the TV show.
it really is. Actually, it surprised me how different it was. I mean, it kind of left me with a really sad, oogie feeling. But I mean, that's what it was supposed to do. All right, well, let's see if we celebrated any holidays today. By accident. Starting with it is European Day of Languages. Sacre bleu. There we celebrate it. I'm so happy. All right, it's also Family Day. Human Resource Professionals, Johnny Appleseed, Lumberjack, mesothelioma, yes, awareness. Also, National Better Breakfast Day, National Compliance Officer Day. Have you complied with your officer? Mm. Also, dumplings, which is interesting because Mr. Lurie Dean made us some chicken and dumplings. Perfect timing.
I don't
Also,
I don't like those kind of dumplings.
uh,
They're too doughy.
yeah, if they're not cooked right. My grandmother used to, do the can drop biscuits, boil them. Yeah. Um, got checked. National Got Checked Day. Spiritual awareness. Shamu the whale. You ever been called Shamu?
No, but I've been called similar things.
Hmm. Free Willy. Let's see. The last day. Oh, the Last of Us Day. Hmm. And also, it's just the start of Rosh Hashanah, and that is what we have celebrated today. There are other days, uh, oh, that are month days, but we're not going to look at those because they're all depressing. All right. Now, take a moment, clear your head, deep breath, and it's time for affirmation. My life can expand and grow and be as big and glorious as my waistline. Oh, wait, as I want it to be. That's beautiful. That is just beautiful. That made me feel special and centered and yeah. And ready for birthdays. Guess what? We have some birthdays coming up. Today's birthday, it is the godmother of the Sacramento queer community, Miss Marge Cavino. Also, happy birthday to Colette, Bo, and Philip, Eric, Kevin, Julius, JG. Oh, our former city councilman, Mr. Steve Hansen. Or is that Hanson? I never figured that out. Anyway, also Dan, author Summer King. Christina, the Christina Hill. She does the little Greetings from Nowhere podcast. Also author Amy Lane, Marvin, Rachel, Robert, Christina. Oh no, this is Christine. Charlene, Tino's. Oh my gosh, I know a Tino. Eric,
Love his pizza rolls.
yes, And Teresa, our amazing costumer and actress friend, Teresa von Stribling.
Did you know it's also Olivia John's birthday?
Today? No, I did not know that. Should we add a celebrity birthday segment?
And Donna Douglas, so Ellie Mae Clampett was her birthday today.
Oh, she's wonderful. She passed, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. She was
And
on The Nanny. It was so cute.
so is it's Linda Hamilton's birthday.
Wow.
Now, how old do you think she is?
I would have to say 68.
66.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well,
It's weird. It's weird because there's all these people now who's that are my age, and then when it's their birthday, I'm like, see, I thought they were older. Because I
yeah.
was because I mean, if you think about it, you're watching some of these people like Mario Lopez. You're watching Mario Lopez, and you're watching him during his time period on television, and
Hmm.
he's a teenager, and so now he's your age, and
He is, yes.
it's like I don't remember them being my age. I always felt they were older than me. You know,
Huh?
usually that they were older. And some of what's really terrifying is when I was a teenager, and now I find out some of those people are younger than me. What?
Yep.
That happened?
I know. I know. I absolutely know. In fact, what's his name? Do you remember the kid on One Life to Live?
No.
Of course you don't. That's okay. I mean, I know you didn't watch that show. Um, no, it's
Yeah.
not One Life to Live. Son of a bitch. I'm sorry. One Day at a Time, the original one, when
I'm
they brought in
frozen.
Glenn Scarpelli,
Why am I frozen?
because your heart's not open.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, fine. Okay.
Open your heart. Just say you. Okay. Anyway, but yeah. So I grew up thinking that he was like way older, because as you do, and it turns out he's only like maybe like 5 years older than I am, if that. So anyway, we're friends on Facebook though. Hmm. So, all right. Birthdays, nothing in our feed bag. No, no, nothing. Am I sure? Because I just realized that I forgot to put together one of our segments. So I'm just double checking to make sure. Nope, that is definitely a what's in your lunchbox segment. All right. So nothing in our feed bag. I cry. All right, and then
Oh,
it's
by the
time.
way, the little
Yes.
cough that you said that's come back.
Oh yes, my little allergy cough.
Yeah, Sean and I have ours came back in um April,
Wow.
and it's continued, of course, now with the allergies kicking in for the fall allergies.
Yeah.
It seems like it because it was getting less and now it's getting back again. So I hate it.
I absolutely hate it. I take my allergy pill every day, and then I now have an allergy spray that I was given, and I still have that annoying fucking little cough. In fact, it used to be a big joke on all my podcasts that I had that stupid fucking cough, and I was so happy to get rid of it for what's been several years. Now it's back.
Well, but that cough was much worse. It wasn't clearing your throat cough. It was like a full-on cough.
Oh yeah, no, no, you're right. But it was allergies. As soon as I
Well,
started taking allergy pills, it
I understand that. I'm
yeah.
just saying that it wasn't the isn't the same thing as what you used to have, which was like, it made my picture freeze when you coughed. It was so loud.
Well, it had some benefits. All right. Oh, chub hugs. Do you have any chub hugs?
Yeah, chub hugs go out to all those poor people in Russia, those men in Russia who were being yanked up and forced to fight in Putin's war.
Yep.
And you heard that they're not what they're doing is they're taking them from rural cities,
Mm-hmm.
smaller cities, because they don't want any anybody getting real wind of what's going on in the
Yeah.
main cities, you know,
Yeah.
in places like Moscow and you know,
Right.
the other larger cities. That way, keeping it kind of low key. But now men are fleeing the country by air, by car, by
Yeah, in
foot.
fact, they put a freeze on the latest that I just heard was that they put a freeze on any travel outside of the country in any form for any men that were 18 to like 60. So, and they anybody that they're fine trying to go, even if they're not being called up, they're like arresting and detaining them. So, yeah, 300,000 reserves because they have gone through all their soldiers. And now some of the Ukrainians that are in Russian occupied territories, they're now forcing them to fight against their own countrymen.
And have you heard about um the like, let's say, Putin's allies in Russia that have been mysteriously falling out of windows and thrown down staircases?
Yeah, there's been a number of those quite recently. There's
Yeah,
also been a lot of protesting, from what I understand, but we get very little wind of that stuff.
yeah.
Uh,
So
but did you hear about the protests that are going on in Iran right now?
yes.
Yeah, because of that, there was a young woman who was arrested on for not wearing her hijab or not wearing it
But
properly.
properly, somebody
Yeah,
could see hair coming
right,
out from behind here,
right. Yeah.
and so they arrested her. And by the time she got to, because they have what is it? What do you call that? They have the police that it's not minority. It's
It's
what do they call that? It's
come on. I know that some of our listeners are screaming at us. It is major morality.
morality. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
morality police. So basically, they have like fashion police that are down there, and
Mhm.
they say, "Oh no, you're being arrested because you're not wearing your
Yeah.
scarf or whatever you call the thing correctly." And by the time they got her um, to the police station or wherever they take them,
Mhm.
she was quite nearly dead and then ended up dying. And so the women are just pissed off. And this is a perfect example of what's happening in this country
Mhm.
with the abortion issue. I
Mhm.
mean, once they take away the abortion issues, you know, there's guys running for office that are saying, why are women still voting?
Yeah, there and women. A lot of people think it's a joke, but they really are saying that.
Yeah, it's like, you know, take away women's rights to vote, take
Mhm.
because most women, well, the majority of women are voting liberal,
Mhm.
are, you know, well, I mean, I don't want to call it Democrat because it's not all Democrats,
Right.
but even the Republican women tend to vote a little on the liberal side on social issues. Well, men don't want that. So get rid of the female vote. Why not? That's what's coming next. You know, I mean, they'll figure out a way of doing it, even
And
though,
Italy's elections were today, and
oh
I
yeah,
believe they're today, and they are considered to be going more right wing than any other election in Italy, from all the way back to World War II, where
right.
they had Mussolini, who was big murderous
Yeah,
bastard.
right. It's the most conservative left, right
Hmm.
person since Mussolini.
Right,
And their
and it's a woman,
whole
by the
group.
way.
It's bad news.
Yeah.
I'm
Uh,
not Italy.
and then what was the other thing? But it's not the women that are protesting with the hijabs and stuff. It's not just the women. Their men are standing by them. Most of their men are standing by them, and out there too. So it will probably be squashed, but it is really,
Well, it should be really be an eye-opening thing for women around the world.
right. And the thing is that it may not have actually come to that if stupid ass Trump had not done what he did with the removing the sanctions, or I mean, adding the sanctions back that Obama removed.
It's yeah.
So
All goes back to Trump. Well, really, a lot of it does.
a lot. All right, so I will see your chub hugs, and I will add some Ukrainian chub hugs, and anybody that needs a hug out there, you got it.
You're so patronizing.
No, it's just, I'm thankful that I'm not being like, although we did have actually, I will add one more to that since you're being so obstropulous. Uh there was one of our dear old friends. You remember the two women, Dell? No, is it? Anyway, it doesn't matter. They got a pup, and the pup came to them with parvo and is now very sick, and they're unsure whether it's going to make it. So lots of chub hugs out to them and to the pup, and hope that she does make it. You done?
I was done.
All right. Hey, visible signs of monkeypox infection usually start about 3 weeks. Within 3 weeks. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Within 3 weeks, and include flu-like symptoms, rashes, and sores that can look like pimples or blisters. It typically lasts 2 to 4 weeks and is spread through direct touching of infected areas of the skin, body fluids, intimate contact with touching items such as clothing, bedding, or towels used by someone with the virus. Learn more about this at cdc.gov, and this information was sponsored by Golden Rule Services of sacgrs.org. And for those of you who are not watching the video, Tom was showing you his youthful, beautiful arm and all the. Never mind. Uh,
You called it monkeypox earlier.
jokingly.
Oh, well,
Oh, by the
obviously
way,
joking.
speaking of monkeypox, have you heard that the numbers of it are apparently going down? And it is because of the response of our community. So just putting that out there. All right, queer headlines. Biden touts importance of LGBTQ rights in the UN speech. That's right. California passes a law to help LGBTQ veterans discharged under Don't Ask, Don't Tell get benefits. They deserve it. Pennsylvania's Don't Say Gay bill is worse than Florida's. It may become law if Doug Mastriano wins. All right. Anthony Bowens is the first out all elite wrestling champion. Have you ever watched that? I haven't either. Yeah. Pete Buttigieg slams Ted Cruz to the ground. No, oh, not sadly. Okay, and other Texas Republicans for attacking his family. And then out singer Grayson Chance says Ellen completely abandoned him. You don't know who he is? See, I didn't either. Apparently, there's some little kid that was like got really famous on YouTube, and Ellen like took him and brought him on the show a number of times and said, I'm going to make you famous. I'm going to manage your career. And then I guess became a control freak. And then when he wasn't as popular as she thought he was going to be, she just stopped talking to him altogether.
This sounds like another Leah Michelle thing. God, so powerful women all of a sudden they're bitches and they're horrible, horrible
The
people.
Ellen stories just keep on coming, though.
So,
So
but what I'm saying
it
is,
makes me sad because she was somebody that I liked before she was Ellen.
I know, but what makes I just think that I think that everyone's expecting too much from people. It's like
There is a story that was corroborated that she called a restaurant and got a waitress fired because the waitress's fingernail polish was not perfect. Anyway, just weird, just weird. Although I think my one of my new drag names will be Helen Degenerate. No, nothing. All right. I know it's okay. I'm not saying that you can't love Ellen. I'm just saying that,
No, it's I don't care. I don't give a shit about Ellen, but I just don't understand why everybody wants to get on the bandwagon to hate somebody.
because
It's
somebody finally said something.
but no, it's everybody wants to throw their 5 cents worth. I mean, look what happened to poor Eric. He's dating Gabby, he's engaged, and then some girl has to throw out something about his past. Why? What did that do for anybody but the girl who sent the text? You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Oh no, no, I am in complete
saying?
agreement
Well,
with
but
that.
that's what I'm talking. That's what all these feel like. After a while, it's like everybody that went after Kevin Spacey because, well, he was mean to me. Oh, because he hit on me when I was at a restaurant. And it's like, you're 18. Who cares? It's like he can hit on you. People can do that. It, it's just
I
it's just like everybody wants to get their 5 cents in to
hmm.
get famous for their 15 minutes by complaining about somebody else. Oh, they did something mean to me. They promised me that they were going to be my friend, and then they weren't.
Hmm.
I
Well,
mean,
I don't know about the Kevin Spacey thing because apparently some court systems decided that he was, deserving of being hit up with a lot of money and judgment. So I don't know. I
yeah,
wasn't there.
yeah, but Ellen, she's a cold-hearted bitch, and she deserves to lose all her money and her career. Good for her. Let's do it right now. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of all the cancellation. I'm tired of all the complaining about people. Oh, they were mean to me. So what? I've been mean to some people. Are they going to fucking take me to court? People have been mean to
Well,
me, and I'm not taking anybody to court.
I don't have those resources.
Yeah.
All right. So now that Tom has spoken his piece, he wants to talk to you about.
I don't know that I want to talk anymore.
Aw.
Well, because I'll be mean to some people here, and I don't want you to, complain about that on.
I didn't complain about this was a news story. I didn't write the story.
No, no, but
I understand.
you
I am
keep
your
you
friend.
keep you keep sending it out there. That's what I'm saying. You know, well, here's a collaborated story about nail polish. Fuck that. That's bullshit. I don't believe it. I don't care. If she had somebody fired for nail polish,
Mhm.
I want to go to that restaurant and go, you deserve to be closed. If you listen to some celebrity that complained about nail polish, you're the problem,
Well,
not
that
Ellen.
I would actually agree with because
So
if you fired somebody over something like that, then you're a douche anyway.
let's see. I was watching finished making the cut, and it was horrible. Um American
Thank
Horror
you.
Story was about
Oh, now let's just talk a moment. Don't get like that. Was that not the most ridiculous fucking choice? He did nothing in that fucking store. His clothes, his okay, I will say that Yanis, I think that was what his name is. No, is it Yanis?
I don't care.
Yes. Anyway, it was art. I will say that the clothes that he put on the runway was art.
It
And
was a shirt with straps.
well, that's what I'm saying. It was art, but as far as
Why
fashion,
is it art?
it was not even well put together. Because fucking anything can be art, honestly. So I will say that artistically, it was somewhat interesting, but it was just crap on that. And then he's going to get $1 million to go design that shit somewhere, and it's going to be on Amazon. Who's going to
I,
buy that?
I looked on Amazon. I couldn't find the shirt with the straps.
Yeah, because it's shit. Nobody
And,
wants it.
and you know what? You know who likes baggy dresses? The women don't. But you think men are going to do it?
Oh yeah, exactly. And that's another thing is his stuff wasn't gender neutral. It was just badly put together. I mean, you know how I am. I'm very forgiving and nice, apparently, about stuff like that. But
Are
I was
you?
so mad. I was so mad because that other guy, And thankfully he did get that,
Intern,
mentorship, which is
mentor.
probably a better win, honestly, for him. But he deserved that.
Well, and I mean,
Either of the women deserved it more than he did.
yeah, the Nicole Richie said, "Don't forget, I want you to make me some pajamas,
Mhm.
entertaining pajamas," and because what he made was entertaining and
Yeah.
interesting and fun. I mean, who the hell is going to walk around any street in America with a shirt with straps on it?
Or
No,
they were fucking potato sacks with
yes,
painted
you know,
white. And then he
that's
said,
true.
"Oh, I
You might as
added
well go back
color."
to Lucy and the burlap
Uh-huh.
potato sacks because that's exactly what they look like.
And he's like, "I added color. You added some weird light puke green to like one thing." Anyway, I disagreed very strongly with this season.
So American Horror Story had a really interesting show. It was called Necro, and it was all about having sex with dead bodies. So and there was a
Okay.
twist to it. There's a twist to it, but
They weren't really
it was
dead.
a fun episode, and but kind of weird, freaky episode as well.
Okay.
League of Their Own, which is on Prime. I'll tell you, if people need to watch this show. It just got more interesting and more interesting as it went on. Because remember, I said it was very lesbian forward. Well, it's basically um we gone from Penny Marshall's sweet story of two sisters playing in the All-American Girls League to a group of women who found a place to go to where they could be where they belonged, and but still found all of the same bullshit that goes on. They wouldn't even try to go to a gay bar, but here they go to this gay bar, and they feel comfortable, and they meet other women who have the same sexual interests that they do, but um it was just and then there's also a black storyline about this one woman trying to get into the Negro leagues, with either as you know hopefully the female Negro leagues. I don't know that they actually had them, but so they did have some female players playing in the males Negro league. So very interesting storylines, stuff that, and I thought I was pretty well versed on this kind of stuff. Not at all. I mean,
Wow.
storylines I had never heard of before, and so interesting. I really wish you'd watch it because I think you're going to go, damn, I wished I was part of this show, part of the making of it, because it's not just good stories, but they're important stories that have never been told, that as far as I know have not been told before. And I
Cool.
loved it. And there's some really, really fantastic actresses that are in the show that I've never seen before as well. So, I just hope it gets picked up for a second season. It was just, I can't stop talking about how good it is.
Good.
This week on RuPaul's Celebrity Drag Race, Chick-fil-A got sent home, which was Kevin McHale from Glee, who played Artie. I don't, I want to challenge the decision, but I think, uh, Ruse has the last choice, so I'm not going to argue with her. But Kevin, it's funny because I haven't seen so much Kevin McHale um, Twitter going on since.
Yeah.
It's like all over the place. Him and we've got Tina Cohen Chang. She's also all
Yeah.
over the place, and they like they've been hanging out together, which is really sweet. And have you seen the pictures of her now? Have you seen her yet?
No.
You
No.
really go out and look at her. She is fucking gorgeous. They took her from the Sailor Moon to just this. She's just gorgeous now. It's just beautiful. Um, let's see. Big Brother last night was the finale. So, and if you picked up any social media, you already know that Taylor won. The Taylor, who was the black woman, who, remember at the beginning, everybody was upset because of the way she was being treated.
On Big Brother.
Big Brother, yeah.
Okay, I don't watch it, but I know you've talked about it. So
Well,
yeah.
no, you've actually talked to me about that, going, what's the story with this woman that everyone's online all upset about it? Well, because she was being treated,
Oh,
she was
okay.
it was like she was being centered because everyone thought she was a bitch just because she was pretty,
Huh.
and like she brought a ton of clothes. So she was a real fashionista because she'd been a beauty queen, and
Mm.
so the whole time she was saying to the camera, "I am going to sit there on finale night and I am going to win." And so last night it was her and Monty. Monty had brought her into the final, and she had a closing speech that it's funny because you watch the jury, and they're when she's talking, all the women are like going, "Oh yeah, oh yeah," they're all shaking their heads yes. And it's so funny because they go back to Monty while she's making her speech, and you just there's a moment where you can see in his eyes that he's gone dead, oh great, I'm not going to win this, there's no way I'm going to win this after that speech. And she ended up winning fan favorite as well. But what was interesting, fan favorite, they named the top three people in the fan favorite category.
Yeah.
It was her and Michael, who was the gay guy who was just he was a beast during the show. He won, I think he won like 5 or 6 different veto challenges. He had a household 2 or 3 times. And then the third person was KKK Kyle.
What?
I know. Sean and I went, what? Oh, great. All the white supremacists voted for him
Apparently.
because nobody else would. I
No.
was shocked.
No. Yeah.
So, Big Brother has been renewed for next season, so we'll see them next season. Okay, now finale of The Bachelorette. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
okay, so this was the final night. So it was the 3 hour finale, 3 fucking hours. Oh my god, I'm so glad I watched it on Hulu because
Yes.
my my remote would have been so messed up from having to fast forward through 3 fucking hours. So anyway, so starts off, Rachel tells Timo that he's the only one left, and Gabby tells Rachel that Eric's the only one left too. Oh, he. So Timo proposes, and then on the live show we go back and we find out, well, Rachel, after the proposal, not everything was going so well for you and Tina, was it? And she's like, well, no. And so what happens is they bring Timo out, and it's no, they hadn't brought him out yet. They hadn't brought him out yet. They did the where Tino's going to her house to talk to him about his indiscretion while
Mhm.
they were engaged. And
Yeah.
it turns out that at some point they were having problems because remember
They
on
went to
the shows,
therapy.
well, on the Bachelorette, remember, or the Bachelor, this show finishes, let's say, in April.
Uh-huh.
Well, they can't really be seen together until the finale night
Right.
on the show. So if they didn't propose, whatever, there's no contact supposed to be made during that time period
Right.
because, well, it'll ruin the whole show. It's
Yeah.
like finding out who the mass singers are, listing off, okay, in this suit is the mass singer is so and so, it just kind of
Hmm.
ruins the fun of the show. So um, what happens is uh, they were having some problems because they couldn't see each other, and it's just and I get that kind of stuff. So he's out somewhere and he meets an old, not an old girlfriend, but an old friend that's a girl, and
Hmm.
at some point they kiss. So he wanted to mention to Rachel that he was out somewhere and he kissed a girl, and he knew
Hmm.
who the girl was, but it meant nothing. And so that meant that he cheated on Rachel in Rachel's eyes. So, and at one point, I remember her saying, he goes, "Well, it was just a kiss," and she goes, "Well, that's what you said."
Well,
Uh,
and her, I can't. You hear your words coming out of your mouth right now? I'm like, babe. Oh, anyway, continue.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
So anyway,
So nuts.
they get a heated speech, and one thing comes to another, and finally she just hands him back the ring, and he goes, "Well, I don't want this thing," and
Yeah.
she goes, "Well, I don't want it either. Just go." So he leaves, and then on the show they bring him on live,
Hmm.
and he kind of kowtows down and apologizes for the whole thing. It was all his fault. And he goes, but the situation. Oh, now you're bringing that up again.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, okay, calm the fuck down, Rachel. You're a spaz.
Yeah.
This is all I'm saying is that I didn't know what was going on in the relationship. I was kind of, because of where we were. There you
Hmm.
go again. It's my fault now. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
no, shut up. And you it was the most uncomfortable thing I think I've ever had to sit through
Well,
on
and
television.
there was nothing he was going to be able to say that she was not going to twist into something, because I think she didn't want to go through with it. I think that she wanted out, and this was a very convenient excuse for it.
Right.
Just the fact that you're going to throw away the love of your life, he's the one, and make a fucking hour of television that we had to sit through, and I actually did. I didn't fast forward
I didn't either.
over a fucking kiss with an old friend who he immediately stopped and knew it was wrong. And I mean, if he had had sex with her, I would have been like, okay, Rachel, I completely understand why you're upset. I still think you're a spaz, but whatever. In this case, I just think that he dodged a bullet
Oh,
and
I
was
do too.
very lucky. And I think that they just brought him on for ratings and to rake him over the coals, because I don't think he deserved the way that
Well,
he had to kowtow.
well,
And
I think you're right as well.
yeah,
But the fact is, he still came on and did it because
he did.
they're all fame whores anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and
and
he took responsibility. And
but what I did love was that the one thing you said was Tino's parents were correct.
yes. Well,
Yeah,
and on top of the fact, okay, and I'm not slut shaming by saying this, but she freaked the fuck out on him for a kiss, and yet she went on national television and had sex with three different guys.
on 3 different
And
nights.
you don't think that that is hard for the person who is going to be your forever person to know, hey, we have all over television, and everybody keeps reminding me that you were with three of us at the time, and I'm not slut shaming you, but I kiss somebody, which granted is stupid, but still. And anyway,
Yeah,
just
she's a whore.
he's lucky.
Yeah, and then Avon, who was the
Oh
guy
yeah.
she sent away because he didn't. He was like, I don't know you well enough to propose to you, but I want to date you. I want to get to know you to the point of where I want to, And
Right.
she's like, leave. You're not ready for this.
Yeah.
And I am. I want because I want to get engaged on TV. That
Exactly, and that's
that's
all it
all
was.
she wanted, and
Yep.
I'm sure the producers pushed that.
And at the end, he shows up,
Yeah,
and she runs off with him.
right. That's the
Thank you
last we
so much
saw.
for your love of Tino.
Right. And then we have Gabby.
Hmm.
Eric proposed to her. They're engaged. Now live, they're discussing what we were talking about earlier, which was that oh, by the way, Gabby was dressed like a whore, like she
Oh,
always does.
I
Just
didn't
hate her
mind.
clothes.
It was fine.
Um, that some ex of Eric's tried to, go in and say, well, Eric never wanted to go. He only went on the show to advance his career. He didn't go on there looking for love, and he didn't even believe the show was real. And it's
Uh-huh.
like Eric goes, well, yeah, so what?
Yeah,
You know,
that was before I got here, and then I
uh,
realized it was real.
and I met Gabby, and then all of a sudden I learned that I was wrong,
Uh,
and so instead of everyone going, oh, he's learned, he's grown, there,
mhm.
which is what they actually did. Fortunately, if it was Rachel, she would have thrown his ass out.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's like there's always going to be some fucking glory hound out there trying to get their 5 minutes or 15 minutes of glory.
And the thing is too is
Terrible.
I even wonder if with this woman's, we'll call it that, motivation, if it was less about the fame and more about the Oh my God. I don't want him to be happy. I'm going to try to ruin this. And that
Oh,
is one of the things that piss me off the most is when somebody's doing well and people have to go out there and try to shit on it just because they're not a part of it.
okay, just think about okay, if you became famous enough that you were like, well, you're discussed on television,
Hmm.
think about the assholes that would pop up to try to ruin you.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd just pay you off. Anyway, but oh gosh.
So anyway,
No, no, I
moving
ruined
on.
that joke with another. What was it? I was gonna say, oh, damn it.
Okay, if you're not going to be serious, I'm going to keep going. So,
Uh,
anyway, Gabby's now engaged and everything's great with her. Now, Gabby's so let's face it, the girl is not stable, right?
Abby, no, sadly.
And she's working on it, and that's cool. And she's
Yeah,
and she remember she was the one that did the meditation and
right.
and the stuff out on the beach, and that's cool. That's good. But
Yeah.
what does she do now? She goes on fucking Dancing with the Stars. Oh boy, that's just, oh,
What's
I could
wrong with
smell
that?
disaster there.
Oh well, yeah,
Yeah,
maybe. But
so
I mean, I like her though. I feel kind of bad for her,
I do
but
too, but
I like
but
her.
yeah, I also think that people who can't can't handle the truth should not be on TV.
Yeah,
So that's, I mean, it just it keeps reminding me that being famous is not all it's meant to be. Everyone thinks, oh, I want to be famous, so everyone will love me and I'll be just great and I'll get a lot of money. It's like, yeah, but what comes with that?
yeah. It comes
So,
with a lot of assholes trying to hurt you.
so anyway, in the end, they announced the new bachelor, which was Zach, and they did a little um, first
Yeah, that was
impression,
tacky, but I like Zach.
which was fine. So, but the show just lingered like a bad fart for
Yep,
3 fucking hours. So
yep.
anyway, moving on. Alone, there we're now we finished Alone, the eighth season, and again they had no food. They had well, they just had no food, and these people were just starving. And I really hate watching that. I hate watching these poor people who, they think they're going to drop them somewhere where they can get fish and they can get rabbits or squirrels, or they can find food, or they forage for like mushrooms or
Yeah,
anything, and they get there and there's nothing.
yep.
And so it was really not good. I mean, not good. It's like the least favorite of mine, because I want to see them succeed
Hmm.
without, I mean, when you have to pull out most of the people because they're starving out of the show, you
Yeah,
got a problem with the show.
yep.
There's something wrong. So we started watching season 9, which is on demand, at least on Comcast on demand for free. So we've watched the first couple ones. They've moved them to a different place. They've gone from above Montreal, and now they're more towards Vancouver. So they're
Hmm.
more on the west side again. But it's the largest area for bears in the world, and the last place they were at, they had 200 to 400 grizzly bears in the area that they were in. This
Jeez.
time they're in an area that has 5,000 to 10,000 grizzly bears, or bears of different sorts, including polar bears who like to eat people. Polar bears,
Wait.
everyone goes, oh, polar bears, they're so sweet. They're not. They're the bear that will actually attack a human for food.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, because
like
they're fucking starving.
grizzly bears will forage for salmon, and they'll eat berries and stuff like that, but they won't really go after humans unless they're feeling like the humans are coming after them.
Right.
So anyway, um so we'll see what happens to this new one. We still
Can
love the
they kill the
series.
bears to eat them?
Yes, you can.
Oh, interesting.
So let's see. There's a big finale of High School Musical, the musical, the series, season 3, summer camp, final episode, let it go. And all the characters that had been in the first 2 seasons who weren't at summer camp. They all showed up, including Olivia Vega,
Hamlin.
Lavago, the girl who sang, I got my driver's license and I want to drive past your house. Oh, the three-time
Okay, I
Grammy.
know the song that you're talking about,
Yeah,
but I don't know her
three-time
name.
Grammy winner. Well, she's from, she was one of the regulars on High School Musical, the musical, the series.
Hmm.
So she even showed up and did the final episode. So that was nice. And they didn't give us an idea what the fall musical is going to be, which I'm kind of pissed, but they'll
Hmm.
be back and we'll hopefully get to find out then. I was trying to get Brian to guess what he thought it would be. And he kept saying chitty chitty bang bang. And I go, look, this is
Ah,
Disney and Disney. You got to pick a Disney musical. And he goes, that's a Disney musical. And I go, no, just because Dick Van Dyke is in the show doesn't mean it's a Disney show.
yeah.
Oh, I don't know then. Okay, whatever. So I'll make sure and let everyone know what
Zombie
the
prom.
musical is. Okay. Um, let's see.
Hmm.
British baking contest.
Yes.
Just the newest episode.
I didn't see this Friday's. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Um, I just love the show. I mean, it's such a good show.
yeah.
It's so easy to sit back and watch. The people are charming and kind. It's almost hard to watch, a challenge where people are nice to each other. And I did post on my um Facebook what the actual requirements are for getting on the show, what you need, and even while you're in filming, did you know that you cannot open your oven without a camera person there to film you?
At home or
No, at on the show.
oh,
So when you're in competition,
yeah.
you have to go, okay, I need to check my oven, and it's like, okay, let's get a camera person over there. So
Wow.
just, I mean, all sorts
Hmm.
of little things. Everyone after they're done with the scene and they're all through with like the first, second, or third competition,
Yeah.
then the crew and all the contestants get to eat everything. So that was kind of cool.
Yes.
So it was interesting. It was very interesting for those who like the show. We just started the Imperfects, which is another, mad scientist gives kids these weird stem cells, and they all have terrible, terrible superpowers. Like one guy's a chupacabra. One girl has pheromones that can make you do whatever you want. They
Right.
just want to please her. One girl has like um, they call her the banshee because she can hit this high screech, but it's also she's got very sensitive hearing. And like we met one guy in I think it was episode 3 or 4, and he had no superheroes except no superpowers except you couldn't hurt him, but he couldn't do anything but not get hurt. So it's like,
Hmm.
okay, that's great. That's kind of like Unbreakable. It's like,
Yeah.
well, what can I do?
Right.
Just you don't get hurt. Okay, great, thanks. That's
Hmm.
fantastic. So and that episode was pretty. It's getting better. It's
Good.
getting better as the show goes on, but oh God. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. We'll watch the new Quantum Leap, which
Oh,
is
how
on
was that?
NBC. Yeah, that was the same, same as the
Hmm.
the old one.
Okay.
He gets thrown into a new body, and he's got to figure out what to do before the computer will send him to someplace else. And what they're hoping for is that the advancements, yeah, that they've made since the first Quantum Leap, which is, so it's like 30 years ago. Uh,
Hmm.
those advancements, we're hoping we can catch the new guy while he's being transferred to another place before another time and another body, the supercomputer. So they've got that kind of going on.
Hmm.
And instead of they have a new girl a woman who is following him around because she was supposed to be the first person to take the leap, not the guy who actually did.
That's
So, and we don't know why he jumped in. There's kind of a storyline. It's interesting so far, and the actual events is always kind of fun anyway.
yeah,
Why is he here? What's he going to change? And
right.
so, that's they did say that probably expect Scott Bakula to show up sooner or later on the
Ooh,
show. I'm sure
yeah,
probably into the season kind of
yeah.
finale type thing. Um,
I'm good with that. I love me some Scott Bakula.
yeah, who doesn't?
Mm,
Reboot, which is new on Hulu, is a sitcom from the makers of A Modern Family, and it's about I mean, basically taking a show like Full House
mm,
or one of those terrible ABC shows where
yeah.
it was meant for families. It was high camp and
Hmm.
uh, just bottom of the barrel humor, and update it kind of like Fuller House, but this time make it a different feel for the show, not so broad of a comedy, more of a like Modern Family was. So basically it's Keegan Michael Key. It's the guy from Jackass. I always forget his name. The lead,
The
uh,
lead, Johnny Knoxville.
Johnny Knoxville.
Oh,
And they're the two guys from the original show, and so they're moving into the new show, and they've got Judy Greer. She plays the mom from the first show, and now she's older. So now they're older characters. Like John, at one point, Johnny Knoxville goes, "Don't punch me in the nose. My septum's it's barely hanging on from all," which means from all the coke that he's done over the last
oh,
20 years.
uh,
And it's very funny. They're these older characters. Now we're kind of seeing where they are, and older actors too, because it's the filming of the new show. It's not the new show. It's not like they just made a new show. So it's very
okay.
clever, very funny. That and um, a League of Their Own are the two that I'm talking about. I mean, if anybody says what's good, those are my two favorite things right now.
Okay.
And that's like I said on Hulu. And it's funny because they even go, well, Hulu's bringing it back. So they utilize their own streaming service to advertise or to play a character in the show, just like on Disney
Nice.
High School Musical, the musical, the series did when they brought in Disney Plus is going to film the musical to do live on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh God, you people, you just anytime you can pat yourself on the back, go ahead.
Yep.
Mass Singer this week, they did it differently. It was they brought out four different people, and then they said, and we're sending three of you home tonight. And it's like, what
Oh,
kind of season is this going to be? You're going to have nobody left.
yeah.
Um, so the first person was the harp, and I'm pretty sure, and spoiler alert, but I'm pretty sure that's Mercedes Jones from Glee. The Glee
Okay.
people are really getting out there right now.
It
So
seems like it.
it's just, I was listening to the voice and I'm going, I looked at Sean, I go, that's Mercedes. I'm sure
Uh,
that's Mercedes. And and so he goes, but she's not as big as Mercedes was. And I go, that was 12 years ago. Let's see, see if we can find a picture of her now. Maybe she's lost a little weight, and actually
yeah.
the did have a full figure. So
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure that's who it is. But she ended up winning the week. So she's going on to some other, I don't know. I still don't know how they're doing it. So
Mm.
the rest of them were the hedgehog, the hummingbird, and the knight. And while the hedgehog sang an old Beatles song, and it was terrible, um, but what happened was in their clue package they said that they had played the Hollywood Bowl and the Sydney Opera House, and their favorite things were their Tony and their Grammy. And I'm like,
Mm.
Tony Grammy, Tony. Oh, and all I could think about was Spamalot. All of a sudden, Spamalot came to my mind because if you remember, Monty Python played at the Hollywood Bowl. That was
Mhm.
actually a big record that they had. Um, and then I'm thinking, okay, who was it? It was Eric Idle. Eric Idle played, he won the Tony for, yes, it's Eric Idle, and then it was Eric Idle. So I was very excited.
Oh,
Um, the fourth person the night, they were singing, and Sean goes, "That's William Shatner. It's got to be William Shatner." And I go, "No, William Shatner has a better voice than that, you know."
yeah,
And it was William
yeah,
Shatner. So
yeah.
so Sean got that one right, and they did not expose who the hummingbird was, but he said we were a good team. He came from a good team. No, the two of us made a good team. So I immediately thought of, because it just felt like it was a sports player. Immediately I thought, okay, he's shorter. I'm thinking it's Jerry Rice, because Jerry Rice and Joe Montana were a good team. Because it's not going to be
True.
Gronk. First of all, he's been on the show and he's super tall. And this
Yeah,
is like one of those side guys that they throw the ball to that run really fast. I don't know what the position's called. Anyway,
running
so the
back or
show
something.
was super fun. I just don't know how they're gonna manage with sending three people home a week. It's a lot of
Yeah,
costumes.
they must have had a lot of uh, people, celebrities clamoring to get on.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. There is another show called the British Baking. Well, it's actually called the Juniors Baking Contest,
Hmm.
which is kids that I think, I don't know, probably 10 to 15-year olds that want to get on a juniors version of the British Baking Show. They have different judges who are very kind to these kids,
Yeah.
um, and uh, and a different guy who's doing the hosting. And they have these adorable British children. And I swear to God, they went, okay, we need to find the kids, but let's make them very, like, let's say you were sourcing out a Harry Potter movie. Give me 10 of those kids or 8 of those kids. And so you got the Indian girl, you got the chubby boy with the curly hair and the weird glasses. Sounds like Brian. You've
Mm-hmm.
got the kid with the buck teeth. You've got the cute blonde guy who, and the girls, one with pigtails. And it's like, oh my God, it's just like they went and go, we need to source 8 adorable British children, because they all look different from each other. But it's a sweet show. Now it runs 15 episodes. The first episode,
Wow.
spoiler alert, they don't send anybody home. But on those shows, it's not that's not a big deal,
Right.
because they're still fun to watch. But I'm thinking they don't send kids home a lot, because if you only have 8 kids and 15 episodes, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. Watch the show Prey, the movie that's on Hulu about the indigenous people in probably the 17,
Oh
1800s.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and they've got a predator after them. So it was really good. It's
Good.
funny because there's no indoor shots, because they're not even in a teepee at any point. So
Hmm.
it's all outdoors, so it probably cost a dime to shoot. And there's not big sets. Yeah, it was, but it worked. It worked, and it was interesting and
Good.
fun. And the Andor thing. Have you seen Andor yet?
No,
I
I
don't know
didn't
what's
even realize it was out until like yesterday.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing about it is that this is the first one of the Star Wars shows where they're not playing off a character we already know.
Right.
So the first couple episodes are, because they put out 3. I haven't seen the third one yet. The first couple episodes, you're kind of going, I don't know what I'm watching. I mean, it's so hard for us to go into Star Wars without already having a perceived idea
Right.
of what the show's going to be. Even the Mandalorian, we knew somewhat and then they introduced little baby Yoda, so it didn't matter at that point. But still, we kind of had a feeling. I mean, we knew that the Mandalorian was the same thing as what's his name, Boba Fett. He was a
Hmm.
Mandalorian as well, so we kind of had an idea of what we were getting into. And this one, I still don't really know where we're going with this after 2 episodes, but it looks really good. And I swear to God, you're going to watch it and go, I want to lose weight so I can wear those outfits. Clothing is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the clothing. And then Family Guy's back last night. They did, for some reason, they did their versions of three Best Pictures, and they did Silence of the Lambs, American Beauty, and Forrest Gump, and it was really a funny show. It was
Hmm.
really, really funny. I mean, the way they played the show worked really, really well. Stewie was, of course, Hannibal Lecter. And oh my God, was Meg even in the show? Did they leave her out again? I always feel bad when they do.
Yeah.
Oh no, Meg was in American Beauty. She
Oh.
played the Kevin Spacey's daughter, who was nah nah nah, So, and I don't think she even had any real lyrics. I mean, lyrics, any lines, but the show was super super funny.
Hmm.
So, if you're a fan of Family Guy, both that and The Simpsons are back, and thank God. So
Yeah.
uh, so that's about it for me. Oh wow, that was a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
And I cut half of that out too. That's what's scary.
Well, you've had a few busy weeks. All right. Well, I didn't get to watch as much this week as I had thought I was going to, but we already talked about making the cut. And we talked about The Bachelorette, which I'm still disgusted over, and you have talked me into watching.
Bachelor in Paradise.
Right. I think the first episode dropped, right?
No, it should be Tuesday, I think,
Okay.
and then it'll drop Wednesday.
All right. So then I will add that to my agenda. Let's see.
And I think what you'll like about him is that it's just now, instead of being all dating and proper or somewhat proper, this is just whores out on a beach trying to, I guess, win some kind of prize. I don't know what the prize is, if it's money or what, or they're finding love, but they're whores. I
Oh,
mean, a couple seasons ago, and it's weird because there was probably just nothing on television. So I was watching, and I'm like going, those two people are having sex in the hot tub, because they were filming somebody in front, kind of near the hot tub, but off
mhm.
the distance, it sure looked like two people fucking in the hot tub. And the next day, they were asked to leave for fucking in the hot tub on film.
Ah, I remember something about
Yeah,
that. Yeah. Okay. So I'll check that out. I think I'm caught up on She-Hulk, and again, it's fun.
but
It's
it's not, the episodes don't seem long enough.
yeah.
I mean, you barely get a story started and then it's over. Did you see the
I,
one where she's at the wedding?
no,
Okay,
no,
that's
I
the new
haven't.
one.
Okay.
Check out the veneers on the bad person in that one. Hilarious,
Okay.
but the storylines barely started and then it's over. And so I think that's the worst part of She-Hulk, is that I don't get enough time with the characters before
Yeah.
it's over.
Yeah, no, actually that's a really good assessment because I think that's what I'm feeling too. Is I like that they're short, but they seem too short.
And I like the characters.
Yeah.
That's fine. I like the idea of it,
Hmm.
but I just, it's kind of like, it's like you order dinner,
Hmm.
you get your dinner, you take one bite, and then they take the plate from you.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Great British Baking Show. Yeah, I haven't seen that episode this week. And then I have seen um the new Lord of the Rings. I'm caught up on that finally, except for this Friday. And I'm enjoying it. I think it's doing really good. I have to wait for Heather to come over to watch it. Um,
Yeah, this
and
episode,
she's loving it.
the
Hmm?
new episode was really interesting.
I hope
I mean,
so
a lot
because
of things, a lot of important things happen.
good because I've
Yeah,
waited for 3 episodes now or 2 episodes for them to stop talking and do something, and they
thank
finally
you.
were sailing out of the bay. And I was like, thank goodness. So, and then I didn't see yesterday's Dragons yet, but I saw the one before that,
The
and
wedding.
yeah, that was a I it was kind of like everything just culminated. Like everything you've been waiting for in all four episodes just happened in like the span of 3 minutes.
Did you love the fact that when the prince's boyfriend goes over and talks to the princess's boyfriend, and then he's kind of like, well, we really need to protect these two, but that's what we're here for, right? Yeah, yeah. And then as walking by, he pats him on the crotch.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, he taps him back of the hand across the ball sack, and that's why
Oh,
he went crazy because
okay. I was wondering why the fuck he went nuts.
yeah.
Because I was like, wow, this is just out of the fucking blue. So yeah, I missed
Yeah,
that.
I
Uh
because I saw that and I go, oh my god, that is so tacky, so
huh.
tacky. And then all of a sudden he just went berserk. And did you love the his left side of his face?
I hate that type of thing. Actually,
Oh,
it
that was good makeup though.
it was good makeup, but no, that's in fact that's one of the things that made me hate Pan's Labyrinth so much. Is the way that they it still sickens me just to think about it. But
Oh,
yeah, so that was out of nowhere. I just see so many bad doomy things in their future, but they need to get more sex in it. But I didn't like that they killed his gay lover. Um yeah, that kind of sucked. Anyway, I'm I'm invested enough that I want to know more. So we'll leave it at that. Halloween Banking Championship, I think I'm up to season 5. So I only have a couple more seasons before I'm up to the current stuff, and hopefully they'll have enough episodes that I'll be happy watching it. And then I've been watching RuPaul's Drag Race season 11 and 12. For those that don't know, or don't remember, I should say, 11 was the one where Evie Oddly won, and she absolutely deserved it. I wasn't always a big fan of her on the show, but man, and that end competition, she brought it. Her outfits, remember the
yeah.
mirrored headdress? I think she just,
Well, the thing I like about Edie, and unfortunately, um, well, not unfortunately, but the thing I like about Edie is that she brought in a whole different look
yeah,
and feel for what drag was, but
hmm
now everyone's doing it. So
yeah,
her originality has become very copied, but still, Edie's just really fun to watch.
yeah. I was very happy with her as the winner, and we're just about to go into the finals for season 12. Now, this one is the one where they had Sherry Pie. That's what it was. I almost said Nina Cherry, but that's a whole different thing. So this is the one with Sherry Pie. So they have to run disclaimers on all the episodes that, after allegations of sexual harassment and stuff have come out, that we're not going to allow her to compete for the in the finale. And it almost seemed like they did some like editing or something to kind of like she doesn't get much screen time. So I don't know.
You know what I think? Speaking on that, I was if you ever are like combing through news stories and they go, "Oh, find out which reality shows aren't really real."
Uh-huh.
So I'm always loving that because I want to see um, what their reasons why they say that. And RuPaul's Drag Race is one of them. They go, well, after speaking to different contestants, we find out that the producers can paint whoever they want to be the bad person just by editing. And I'm like,
Well, duh.
what are you going to do? I mean, it's what, a 24-hour show that just we got one still camera on the girls in a room. You can't
Right.
do that.
Yeah.
That's not what that's not, name me a show that's a reality show that doesn't have, you know, editing going on, or
Mm-hmm.
multi cameras. It's like they go, well, in Survivor, they say they're surviving, but there's producers and camera people and sound
Mm-hmm.
people on the island with them. So how alone really are they? And it's like, hello, yes, we know that.
Right.
And they just kept listing off all these shows. Oh, well, the Kardashians, that's all scripted. And it's like, oh, and then you've got this show. Well, they've got, they're paying the host to read lines, and it's like, okay, what the fuck do you people want?
I
Here,
think,
we'll put a still camera on a plant, and
uh,
we'll hope that God waters it, because we don't want to touch it, to make it look like we're influencing what happens to that plant.
sometimes I really think that there are these people that think that they're like, there's nobody on the island with them,
Right.
that like we're just magically watching them through what? There's no cameras, there's no anything. But we're still seeing them.
Did you know on Amazing Race that they have tickets already purchased for those people? And their camera crew, they actually have a camera crew that follows each of the team around, and their camera crew has to be on the same plane with them, so they have tickets too.
I know. Yeah, yeah. Uh, I had thought about that before. The whole they have to make sure that they can get a cab where there's enough for three people, and they can't. It's just, yeah.
it's
I
it's
I
it's
don't understand how people can think that, oh, that's scripted. I did watch a thing on RuPaul, on the five drag queens that will never be back on RuPaul, and I don't know. I'm just like, you people are weird.
Yeah, but
Um,
it's just you're right. I mean, well, I guess I'm right, but it's just so weird that there's people out there who are going, on the ice truckers. I mean, oh no, one that got me was, it was on I think The Bachelor, and it's like, well, they walked into the house, and we got to see them walking into the house. So the person that answered the door knew that they were coming, because there had to be a camera crew in the house so we could see them walking in.
right?
And it's like, oh wow, you're right, you're right. The person in the house knew that they were there because there was a camera crew there.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's just silly, stupid people. I mean, granted, I do hate when they go, "What are you doing here?" And it's like, well, my camera crew's in your house, so I got to come in.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Oh, I wasn't
Um.
expecting you. Yeah.
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 Okay. So,
I think that's pretty much, let's see. Oh, the only other thing that I watched a 20-minute documentary piece on YouTube about um and please don't let his name leave my mind. What is it? Um oh, Ghost and Mrs. Muir television show.
uh, George.
No,
Oh,
very
Charles
big.
Nelson Riley.
Yes, thank you. I watched a little mini documentary on him,
I've seen that
and
roaming around.
yeah, it was really great. It was really great. I mean, I've always liked him, but to see everything that he went through, and when he like there was some agent or somebody that he was supposed to meet, and he like opened his mouth and spoke for maybe like 30 seconds, and the guy shut him up and said, you they'll never put queers on television. You might as well just give up now. So yeah, it was pretty harsh. Anyway, okay. We want to remind you to be loud, be proud, be too much, and to be you. And that means that you need to go over to Fat Market Clothing, who tells us that they want us to be told that she already done have hers. Oh no, wait, sorry, we're watching too much RuPaul. We're too much of if you're too much of something, turn those negatives into positives. And Chubs Gone Wild listeners, you can do that with the code FMWildChub to get 20% off anything while ordering over at fatmarkerclothing.com. And definitely go check out their fall specials. Very, very, very cool.
Oh, and
Great
by the way,
items coming up.
she's already has hers. That,
Hmm.
you know what that used to be?
You know, wasn't that the ooh girl? She's got shemale.
Yeah, which I have on my phone. That's
I
my
know. Yeah.
ringtone. And she had to get rid of it because they go, that's really insensitive
Hmm.
to trans people.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
like
There are some of that
that's
that,
not what a she-male was anyway. So calm down, people.
well,
But Rue wants to be as politically correct as ever. So
well, she knows that, things are changing and terminology is changing, and she's got to do what she's got to do to have a show. Sometimes you just have to do it. We don't have to worry about being canceled.
uh okay.
Okay. All right. Hey, let's talk some Joe Prudence and see what's going on here. You want some advice? You want to give some advice?
I've waited all day.
That's actually true. You kind of have. All right. Let's see. Okay, my husband was estranged from his parents for many years. He reached out to them when he was diagnosed with a terminal illness. They didn't have enough time to discuss and resolve their past, but they were at least at peace with each other when he died. Now, my husband's parents wish to keep in touch with me and my toddler-aged son, as he is the only link they have to their only child. The problem is, my son is not my husband's biological child. I had an affair. The biological father dumped me upon realizing I was pregnant, and my husband, to cut the complicated story short, decided to raise the baby as his own. He didn't legally adopt our son. We simply put his name on the birth certificate, and that was that. Or tell anyone other than our marriage therapist. It was a it was a painful, regretful, and humiliating episode of my life, and I did not wish to tell even my own parents, but I feel incredibly guilty whenever my in laws talk about how grateful they are to me that they have a grandchild to remember their son, or make comparisons between my son and my husband and how they were similar at that age. I feel like I need to come clean with them before they develop a strong attachment to him. They are already talking about changing their will to include their grandson. What should I do?
Um, I'd say let everybody have their own little fantasy. And when your son really rather have the memory of his dead father than of some man who squirted in you and then dumped you, I mean, then he's going to go out and look for that asshole. When he gets older, does he really need that? Or does he just take the satisfaction that his grandparents love him and I just I don't see why rock the boat. I really don't. Unless you don't want any contact with his parents.
Hmm.
I mean, if you don't want the not really grandparents to be involved, then tell them. But if if it doesn't matter, doesn't everybody win?
Do they?
Yeah.
Do they? Hmm. I don't know.
Okay.
I think that at some point she needs to tell the son when he's older. He needs to know. He deserves to know. Uh,
Why? Why does he deserve to know what your father
Because
was?
they always end up
Scumbag.
finding out there's always some damn accident or blood draw or something when they're like, oh, yeah, he couldn't possibly be your daddy. There's always some way that it's going to come out.
Girl, you watch way too much TV.
Wait a minute. Now, just wait a minute. No, but seriously, I think that, he deserves to know. I mean, there's still a thought that my father's father was not his real father, but his mother never said anything. But you know what? In this day and age, he's going to go take a DNA test and he's going to be like, "Hey, why is my father listed as somebody in Chicago who now wants to meet me?"
They're not going to say that from a DNA test.
Oh, girl, you don't have any idea what they can do.
Eh,
Anyway, the point being, the son at some point needs to be told. But at this point, I just, especially if the grandparents are older, just let them, unless of course, like, they're horrible people that she doesn't want to
Sure,
do it.
they're horrible people. Then say, well, the kid was never really his kid
Yeah.
anyway, and then they
So
can run off. But that's only if they're awful.
right. But if they're sweet people and, this is bringing them some joy or whatever, I don't think there's anything wrong with just letting it go. And besides, he was raising him as his son. He
Right.
would have acknowledged him as his son. He would have gone on loving him without the terminal illness as his son. So I don't think there's any real,
Yeah, I agree.
thing going on like that. So
Yeah.
anyway, well, let's see what Dear Prudy has to say, because she's gonna shoot our theories all this shit. All right. Your late husband was your baby's father. In entangling your tale, my reading is that you were married to your late husband, you cheated and became pregnant, your husband knew, and he stepped up and claimed paternity. I'm sure readers better versed in family law will chime in, but my understanding is that in this such a situation, your husband would be considered your son's legal father and no adoption process was necessary. He also was your boy's father in every other sense. Yes, you will have quite a story to tell your son when he's older. Haha. I do believe he is entitled to hear it. Excuse me. When you do bring this up, you can put your best face forward on the fact that your husband, his father, loved him and wanted to raise him, and not cast his origin story that his biological father was a slime. But I don't think your late husband's parents need to hear this. Dang it. Sorry. Of course, they see similarities between your son and theirs. It could be that both boys were confident and verbal. So their observation is correct. In any case, seeing such connections as natural, and there's no reason to dispute them of this. Keeping up a connection to your son's paternal family surely will only benefit him. He's not going to get anything from his actual biological father, and I don't see any reason to deprive your child of a potential inheritance. There is already been enough loss in your little boy's life. There's no call to cause an estrangement. With loving parents, it's not deceptive that their son was your son's father. And some night, after you tuck your boy into bed, watch the excellent film The Painted Veil. Okay. So I guess she agrees with both of us. And this is Emily, so it is she.
And actually, I would only if it came up would I tell the son, because some people, I don't know, they might get hurt with the fact to find out that the guy they always thought was their father, then it cheapens that relationship. So only if it comes up.
I don't know if in this case it would be something that would cheapen it. I mean, he was going to be there for him no matter what.
Sure, I know,
That
but
to me is stronger than some slime ball has.
yeah, but I've seen people, who have been adopted,
Mm,
who hate their parents, because they want to find who and hope that their new parent was going to be something fabulous, and
yeah.
and it takes them years and years and years to come to settle the fact that your adopted parents were your parents.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a slippery slope. It really is.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Okay.
So hey, Chubs, what's your favorite Halloween candy?
Oh, oh, oh. The Snickers pumpkins.
Mine is Reese's pumpkins.
Oh, that's really good too. Maybe I'll change my answer.
No.
Oh, all right.
Hey, what was the largest news event you remember as a kid? Or your first large news event when you were a kid?
The the hostages that um that Ford got them freed, but that happened when Reagan was president, so he got credit for it. Or no, Carter.
No,
Was it Ford or Carter? Carter
oh wait,
was before Reagan.
You're right. It was Carter.
Right. So he's
Carter.
the one that got it freed, but then Reagan got the credit for it. But I
Yeah.
remember that and arguing about it in class, weirdly enough, in fifth grade. um, okay. Well, hey, Tom, take a guess.
Can I give my thoughts here?
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, I guess so. Okay, go ahead.
Kennedy assassination.
Oh, wow, that's a big one.
And I was 4 years old, but it's 4 years old. It's all anybody talked about. Well, and the thing was that I had just seen Kennedy a few months before that. He had come to the Air Force base that we were at up in Montana, and
Wow.
I remember because we were out on the tarmac when he came out of the plane. Everybody, all the people wanted to see the president, so my
Yeah.
parents were there, and I was on my dad's shoulders,
Oh,
and I remember somebody. I always gave my dad credit for it, but I remember somebody saying, "Wow, I'm really surprised he's in an open aired car."
jeez.
Because they brought a convertible, and he was in the convertible waving to everybody as he drove through. They picked him up at the plane and they drove him to wherever they drove him. But I remember somebody saying that, and then a few months later, boom, he's dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because of that. That's crazy. All right. Well, now, Tom, take a guess. Love
15.
Story.
Oh
Yeah.
wait,
Love Story was the number one film of,
1970.
yes, 1970. Thank you. How much did it gross?
Because in those days, grossing was gross. So I'm
Uh,
going to say 147 million dollars.
50 million.
Jesus, isn't that insane?
Uh-huh.
Um,
Absolutely
Yeah,
insane.
I remember like they were saying, oh, this movie did really, really well. And it made, $38 million. And I'm like, oh, what, opening week? And they're
Yeah.
like, no, grand total. And I go, and that was really good. What?
Yeah.
Because, Godfather ended up making like $250 million, and everyone was shocked. But then it played literally for over a year in like here at the Centuries at Arden when they had the domes.
Mhm.
It played in the big dome for literally a year. Actually, it was more than a year.
Wow.
Um, and people kept coming to it. But of course, box office, ticket costs were $2, 250, 225. I don't know. I know that when I started in the movie business in 1979, when did Superman come out? Was that 79 or 80? I think it was 79. When that came out, the ticket prices at Birdcage were $2.65. I know
Jeez.
because that was also minimum wage.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, wow. That was the biggest movie of the year.
Yeah, Superman was one of the first movies. Well, no, not one of the first, but is a movie I actually did see in the theater, and Nephi did too, and with his dad, and it was one of the best Superman movie heroes that he ever saw. Anyway, um, by the way, I forgot to mention this during my week. Peacock's Queer as Folk reimagining will not return for any more episodes after its first season. It took to social media to announce the news. It's a rare gift these times, blah, 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 to make a show that is fearless and unapologetic as Queer as Folk. This experience changed our lives, but it is over. It's not getting a second season. And, you know, I have to say that if it had been just a squosh better written, it might have. Because
Well, and
I would actually not blame the cast on
oh
that.
no, I'd never blame the cast. I also think, I mean, granted, I only saw the first episode. I think
Mhm.
that if it was more relatable to people who watch television, number one,
Hmm.
You know, they took the storyline, they made it a little too contemporary for, let's say, older gay men who were sitting at home with Peacock on their streaming service. So you got to remember who your audience is, girl. You know, if you're trying to sell, um, you know, you know, whatever, if you're trying to sell something, make sure that what you're selling is the same thing as the people who are paying to watch your programming. And I
Wow.
think that that's where they make a mistake a lot of time, is that they give the wrong show, the wrong time, the wrong cast, the wrong streaming service. There's a lot of things that can go wrong if you're not thinking smart. I mean, because like A League of Their Own, I worry about it on Prime, but it's better on Prime with the storyline than it would have been on, let's say, CBS.
Hmm.
You know, who would have canceled it right away because it wouldn't have gotten the huge audience that CBS always counts on.
Or if it had been on Netflix and it'd been a lovely comedy about a Cuban family, it would have been canceled far too soon as well. But
Sure.
anyway, I think the show was brave. I thought that it had some great elements to it, but it just was a little bit lacking, and I'm sorry to see it go because I think a second season would have been good. Well, better because you learn your mistakes, you hopefully do better. All right. Well, I didn't get a chance to put the lovely what's in your lunch boxes in the lunchbox. So let me run down real quick and then I'll post them on Facebook so that
No,
everybody
no,
can
no. We'll
see,
save it for next
including
week.
you. No, I don't want to
Yes,
do
I want
that.
to see pictures.
I don't know if I can do that. And even Miss Bacon wrote in.
It's not fair. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
408 69 Chubs. There we go.
All right, guys. I'm sorry, but you know, Tom has spoken, and so all letters can be sent to chubsgonewild@gmail.com.
But we'll see those pictures next week when Matt finally gets them onto the page.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not going to post them this week.
Oh, all right. And you can also leave us a comment at chubsgonewild.com and complain. And you can complain at facebook.com/chubsgonewild. And you can go over to YouTube and watch our videos over. Just search for Chubs Gone Wild, and then in the comment section you can complain. And then become a patron of the show for as little as $1 a month over at patreon.com/Matt Burlingame. And with that dollar, you have the right to complain. Find Tom's TV reviews over at swannerandjudd.com. Find their podcast in iTunes or iHeartRadio, and find out more about my books over at justkisstheguy.com, and check out my other podcast, That Gay Sex Show, that gets no complaints at all. And give us a call at
408 69 Chubs.
Yes, Queen. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We will catch you next week, and we will look forward to all your write-in comments. And while you're writing in, send us some more stuff for what's in your lunchbox, and make it big, because we got that year-end contest coming up. So you're definitely going to want that this year. All right. Bye.